So it's that time of year again when we do our big SUP pump test. In 2019 we've got 3 pumps that are definitely going to be contending for the top title. We've got the Red Palico Titan, the GRI Triple Action, and the new pump for this year, the Bravo Super as well. In this video we're going to highlight the speed of the pumps, the usability of the pumps, and hopefully guide you to looking at the right pump for you. So the 3 pumps we have here, many of you are aware of the GRI Triple Action and the Red Palico Titan. The Red Palico Titan is definitely the first double chamber pump on the market, and it still is one of the best big pumps on the market to date. Comes with all of the Red Palico boards, so it's very easily available with the Red Palico range. The GRI Triple Action is a newer pump. It came out last year. They're almost on to the second phase of that pump now. It's also available with lots of different brands, so it is readily available on the market. The Bravo Super is a brand new pump that we did a test of the Bravo range a few months ago, and now we're going to try it up to the bigger pumps to see how it compares. So running through a few basic specifications for these pumps, the PSI, the max PSI that these pumps can push out. The Red Palico Titan, it has the highest PSI, 30 PSI that you can push out, which is higher than any SUP that we've ever tested that's needed. The Triple Action, the GRI, recommends up to 26 PSI, which again is usually fine for all SUPs, and the smaller Bravo Super is recommended up to 29 PSI, so again a high pressure pump. The price points of these pumps, both the GRI and the Red Palico, are retail priced at about £85. We haven't got the full confirmation of the Bravo pump, but we're hearing it's going to be around half the price of the other 2 pumps. Another very interesting figure, let's talk about the weight of these pumps. The GRI Triple Action is the biggest, tallest, bulkiest of pumps, and it is the heaviest as well. Coming in at 2,456 grams, it is a big old lump. Lighter than that, a little bit smaller, then you've got the Red Palico Titan, which is still over 2 kilos, comes in at 2,164 grams. The lightest pump on test, and definitely the smallest overall, is the Bravo Super, and that weighs 1,150 grams. So it's quite a lot lighter than the other 2 pumps, and it's quite a lot smaller as well. How the 3 pumps work are all very different. The Red Palico Titan has a double chamber. One chamber is bigger than the other, and you can pump on both chambers just on the downstroke, and then when the pumping gets hard you can take the red nozzle off and you can pump just on the smaller high pressure chamber, but again just on the downstroke. It's very simple, doesn't break, it's very easy to use, and it's been tried and tested over several years. The GRI is a little bit more complicated than that. It's got 3 settings, so you can set it on 1, which is the most capacity to get in all of the chambers working and working in 2-way, and then you can set it on number 2, which brings down the pressure in your arms. It uses less chambers, and also then you can switch it to number 3, which is to finish off with the high pressure, and that's using a single chamber on one direction. It's a little bit more complicated, and obviously the engineering around this pump is very different from the Red Palico, but again it still gets a lot of air in your board. The Bravo Super is one of the simpler pumps. It works on an upstroke and a downstroke, but they really looked at the size of the chamber and the height of the chamber to make it as efficient as possible. And then you can switch the valve over at the back, and then you can just pump on the downstroke. A big thing that we did when we noticed the review of the Bravo Super is actually on the upstroke, when it's in the one-way position, so just pumping on the downstroke, it's very easy, there's no effort. Some pumps, when they're 2-way pumps, when you pull the pump up and down, even when it's on just the one way, so just pushing air, when you're pushing down, it can get quite hard to pull the arms up. So the Bravo have worked hard on making sure it's as efficient and as easy as possible to pump up and down. We have done reviews of all of these pumps separately, so if you really want to find out more information about each pump, make sure to check out those reviews. I'll make sure the links are appearing on the top of the screen. So let's move on to timings now. How fast did these pumps pump up a board? We pumped up a 135 litre board, which is a small surf shape, up to 15 PSI. Lucy was the tester this time. The reason we choose a smaller base board opposed to a bigger board is we find that we get better readings because the tester doesn't get so fatigued. If the tester had to pump a 300 litre board up for the first pump, you can guarantee they would have fatigued and they wouldn't have as much energy when they come around to pumping the second time with a different pump. So if we bring the volume down on the board, we find that we can get a bit more of an accurate reading when it comes to heart rate and the time overall. So pumping a 135 litre board up to 15 PSI, what are the times? Well, the fastest pump, and it was the fastest pump when we've tested it previously, is the GRI Triple Action. It did it in 1 minute and 53 seconds. And Lucy's maximum heart rate got to 130 beats per minute when she tested that. The second fastest pump, and it definitely took us off guard, is the smaller, slender Bravo Super at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Lucy actually had a slightly lower beats per minute heart rate at 127 when she'd maxed out and finished with that pump. The slowest pump, but definitely not by very much, was the Red Palico Titan at 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and also a very similar heart rate overall at 133 beats per minute. So to be honest, there wasn't a massive difference of the timings of these pumps. All these pumps are really efficient, and with the heart rate, they stay at roughly the same sort of heart rate. But it was really interesting to see how the smaller, slender Bravo Super can keep up with the bigger pumps on the market. I mean, these are double action, these are double cylinder pumps, so they have got a lot of air, a lot of volume of air they can put into the board quite quickly, and that smaller Bravo did actually stand up very, very well. So talking about a few other things you're going to be thinking about when you're comparing your pump. The finish and the engineering that's gone behind all of these pumps is top end. The quality of the plastics, the hoses are all very, very nice. Really nice things we like about each pump. The GRI Triple Action has got a really nice handle setup. It's really wide, it's really easy to get a lot of pressure, and it's really well shaped to your hands. It's visually very good looking, and it's very clear to understand how to use the pump. The Red Palico again has a nice wide handle, so it's very easy to use. A top thing for the Red Palico is the pressure gauge. That really is standout, very clear, easy to read, and also the foot pegs at the base of the pump are really well swept back and easy to get your feet on. That's a really nice thing for Red Palico, and it's also a very easy pump to use. You just take the red plastic switch nozzle out of the back, and then it's very easy to get it to pump in a one-way on the smaller chamber. The standout things for us for the Bravo, obviously the weight and the size of this pump is a really big thing. It's way lighter than the other pumps. The handles are comfy, they're not as wide as the other ones. A real plus for us is the hose is attached to the main pump body, not the handle itself. So when you're pumping, the hose doesn't go up and down, which can get a bit annoying, or it can come undone when you're pumping. And also the screw thread on the Bravo, the way that the hose attaches, it has a twisting screw thread. So it goes on, you haven't got to turn the whole hose around to tie it on the pump nice and tight. And it's also a very easy pump to use. The switching mechanism at the back is very easy to switch over. So with pumps like this on the market, there's no doubt that pumping is getting easier than ever before. But really for us, a standout, if any of them on this test, has to be the smaller, lighter, cheaper Bravo. It's definitely a pump to not be underestimated, and it can easily hold itself up to the bigger pumps. And for me, for transport and actually taking it places and going on holiday, the lighter the pump is the sort of thing I will be looking at. If you aren't going on holiday and you're just looking at pumping up your board as fast as possible, then the two bigger pumps, the Triple Action GRI and the Red Palico Titan, are going to be the pumps to look at. So if you're struggling to pump this year and you're looking at getting as much air in your board as quickly as possible, there's 3 pumps that you can be looking at in 2019. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and we'll see you next time on SUP Boarder.